I have made some very poor financial decisions. All of these have a place in the collection, and by that I mean they all have a place under my bed. So I figured today we could take them all out, dust them off, and talk about them for a little bit. I figured we could start the show with something simple, the Model M. Everybody knows what this is, everybody's seen one. This would usually be used in terminal applications where, you know, as you can even see, there's no caps lock, num lock, scroll lock, whatever up there. It's just a fixed plate because this was a terminal keyboard. You know, you didn't need to worry about spelling errors and caps lock and shit because this wasn't really meant to be used with the personal system computers. It was mainly just a terminal board, so that's why I think this one is pretty fucking cool. Moving up next, you've already seen this guy. This is the Model F. This doesn't really need an introduction either. If you're interested in this one, go watch the video I did on it, but he's pretty cool. Weighs a fucking shit ton, and I'm super lucky to have found him for as cheap as he was. Next up on the list, we have the Zlant. I talked about this guy. This is actually the first video I ever did. I had to salvage the caps on him, and they're on another board I have, but yeah. This layout does hurt me, but if I really wanted to use this, I would just have to get used to it. It's not something I would just prefer to use. Next up, we have the KBD67 Lite. He's been in a couple of videos so far of me throwing him and of him being used as a keyboard for me to interface with that gateway machine from the last video. But currently outfitted with this guy. Fucking throwing things everywhere. The caps I have on this guy right here are the Glorious Pandas. They are from the Glorious PC Gaming Race, and they are a new take on the ever-popular Holy Panda. And I like these. They don't sound too bad. I think they sound pretty good. And it feels really good to type on. I really like it. What I have right here is the KBD Fans DZ65. I have it outfitted with Collie fried eggs. These are my favorite silent switch. I like to put air quotes in there because no switch can be truly silent, but these fried eggs do come pretty close, and they're actually self-lubricating. I'm not even joking. You should research how that works, but these are self-lubricating switches, and it works. They actually do self-lubricate, but, you know, that's a story for another video. This guy, I actually picked this up as an eBay purchase not too long ago, and I do intend to do a video on him, but so far the script is shelved because there's nothing interesting to talk about. It's just boring. This is actually a very solid keyboard. It's more fun when I talk about shit that's bad than when I talk about shit that's good. This guy was pretty cool. I might do something with him, but, you know, I kind of like him right now. I like him. This doesn't exactly count as a keyboard, but I did end up building it, so I guess it counts anyway. This is the Ungodly Design Launchpad. This was the one that they did with one-up keyboards with the acrylic case. I fucking love this thing. This little guy is fantastic. Since I don't really own anything with an external numpad, or an internal numpad, sorry, I kind of have to use this since I don't really own a whole lot of things with a numpad. Not a lot of people do in this hobby. But this thing is really nice because it comes with a MIDI slider that I can use with a program called MIDI Mixer, which I can use to control my volume, and it also comes with a nice little OLED screen. And on this, I'm currently using... Inside of this, I'm currently using lubed and filmed Gatoron black inks because I just like them. But it's a numpad. It does what I need it to do, and that's why I love it. Coming up next is one of my favorites, actually. It is the Talkie Custom. This guy is actually my daily driver board because of how nice this really is. If you want some more info on this, I did an entire video on it. You can go check that out. This heavy motherfucker right here is the board that I featured in the MX Black video. This is a very, very hefty piece of CNC'd aluminum. This is a Tofu 60 case. These things notoriously... I can actually take this thing out. Oh, look at that. These things notoriously are very heavy. They're very sturdy. That is solid aluminum. That hurt me to do. But yeah. You don't want to fuck with one of these things. I could probably hurt somebody with it. I cannot even probably. These corners are sharp. That's definitely gonna mess someone's day up, you know? This little guy right here is the CIY, sorry, I can't even fucking read today. Tester 68. I like these. This is just an honest-to-God, really nice 65% keyboard. It doesn't do anything crazy because it doesn't need to. It is a legit, no-frills, DIY hot swap keyboard, and that's why I love it. It's also nice because these things are dirt cheap. This was $15. You can get these for even cheaper. These are so damn cheap. These are perfect. So we'll be doing a video about this guy come very soon. This guy right here is actually an eBay board. I'm not even sure what this is. I haven't really looked at it. Ioso! I have no idea what this is. But basically, this is just like your typical, really generic black on white Amazon Japanese keycaps with glorious pandas in there as well. If I ever do a video about this guy, it's gonna be about making it quieter because it stands now. He's really not that quiet. So we're gonna crack him open in another video probably and then modify him. I got this guy right here. This is a GK61S from Skyloom. Love that fucking company. But in here right now, I have... What do I actually have in here in terms of switches if I can get a fucking keycap off? Holy shit, this fucking thing is not gonna come off. Okay, after struggling for 3 hours to get a keycap off, these are actually loaded with Kali Polias, which are another favorite tactile switch, and we'll touch on those switches in a different video at some point because I really enjoy how these go. But all of these are loaded inside of a GK61S. These are a very good middle ground beginner's hot swap board for if you want to get into keyboards. These things right here are perfect. I love them. They're great. I did a video on this guy already. This is the DZ65, or fuck. I did a video on this already. This is the DZ60 in the resin case with the Yacht Trash Panda switches. There's really nothing special about this. It's a piece of garbage. If you want to learn more about it, I already did a video on it. You just look at the channel, you'll find it. And this guy right here is the GK61S that I also did a video on with the... Forgot the fucking switches in here. With the Halo Trues that are in here. I like this guy. The GK21S is it's a pretty hefty board. It ain't as cheap as I wish it was, but for how much it is a feature-rich board, and I do deeply love this thing. Do you remember that? This is the case that I featured in the keyboard case breakdown that I did, because in it I have the thing that I've spent the most money on in this hobby. The keyboard itself uses Zeal PC Telio V2s, which are lubed and filmed. All of these are inside of a KBD Fans DZ60 with a brass mounting plate inside of a polished rosewood case. I have this guy sitting in this case for a reason, because the total cost of this board with everything said and done was $422.27. This was not cheap. This is why it stays in the case. This is the endgame board. I love using this thing. It is my most prized possession, and I honestly could have wasted even more money on this thing. Because one of the funny parts about this hobby is no matter how much money you have wasted on something, there's going to be somebody who is willing to waste even more than you. This is kind of my magnum opus creation right here. I don't really have anything that can top this in terms of beauty and quality that I own in my collection. I could certainly build something. I could buy a fucking RamaWorks board and that would probably be higher quality than this. But at the end of the day, I made this, so it beats out anything pre-made that I've ever owned. The coolest part is that they all fit together in a really nice little stack, so I can just sit back in my chair and look at just how much fucking money I have wasted. Which one of these keyboards was your favorite? Please tell me in the comments below. As for me, we got another video coming out soon, so stick around, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.